Hey art historians, this is your final weekly summary video, and I want to talk a little bit about week 7 and also just clarify what your expectations are for week 8 because things are just a smidge different, especially in regards to your due dates. So let's first talk about week 7. This is our second to last week of class, and we had a quiz number 12, quiz number 13, and a discussion. So let's start with those quizzes. First of all, I wanted to clarify in quiz 12 that the Ajanta Caves are showing religious narratives and readings. We are not seeing daily life necessarily. Portraits are not the main focus. And while religious narratives and teachings can sometimes fall into that category of history, it really is more focused on that religious aspect. So that's why history would not be the answer there. And then next for quiz number 13, the Olmec mask question in regards to what it is showing or depicting and the focus here. So those facial features are definitely implying a deity or somebody very important. There are really no natural scenes because that is really implying more of a landscape, a sort of arrangement, a composition. It's definitely not basalt and it's not a vessel. So that is why the deity or important figure for the facial features would have been the correct answer there. And a second question for quiz 13, the bridge spouted vessel from Nazca. Now, I definitely can understand why some of you would be a little bit more inclined to choose something in regards to the human face shape for your answer, but unfortunately, it's indicating that the spout has the human face shape. And now, while there is a geometric abstract sort of image of the human face, it's not on the spout. And so that's why when you're going through these multiple choice questions, it really does lend itself well to paying attention to some of the specific wording that can sometimes make the difference between an absolutely correct response and an incorrect one. So the correct answer for this would have been geometric patterns and a handle. We don't see any frescoes on this piece of daily life, and it's definitely not made out of jade. So that is why that answer would be correct. Now, for our discussion this week, I wanted to talk about two pieces and some of the comments that we kind of started to explore and the discussion topics and different information you folks brought up. So those Olmec heads, Samantha, you said that they look cranky. I really love when you all take the time to look at artwork and put some of our 2024 emotions into these pieces and kind of view it from our lens. I definitely think they look cranky, and I think that's a super kind of cute but also fun way of thinking about the expressions and the emotions of these heads. And so I really love that comment. Now, Katie, you had written a little bit more about the headpiece that they're wearing. And what's a little interesting about this is that the Olmecs were known for playing this game that involved a ball and wearing a helmet. So what they actually have on their head is that helmet from the game that they would have been involved in playing. It was some sort of religious, social, community-driven game that was very, very popular during the height of the Olmecs. And Gabe, you actually made the connection between sculpture and social systems, and I thought that was a really awesome moment to kind of address in regards to how closely tied these two things are. And you also mentioned that in the extra resource that you had kind of explored in regards to the Olmec heads, that you really wished that the author had done a little bit more exploration into regional influences, as well as the differences in creative expression. And so I do wonder if, based on the different areas where these masks and these heads were created, what differences exist there, and would that give us any more insight into the culture of these people and maybe some of the nuances between different areas that they might have gathered in. So I really love those comments. Amazing job, folks. And then last but not least, I have to mention Yaxchitlan. I think it's one of the most interesting pieces, and Jonathan, you had mentioned a little bit about that bloodletting ceremony, and whenever I think of cultures like the Mayans, the Aztec, the Incans, there always is this association of violence with them, and it's very hard to kind of comprehend in our day and age. So, Jonathan, I think on your post I'd also commented that, these ceremonies where they're, piercing their tongues, letting out blood, it seems so foreign to us now because we don't have these practices, but to them, it most likely was an incredibly violent kind of occurrence, and it was really just part of their culture and their religion. it sort of makes me think about what sort of things we do today that people in the future might look at us and be like, oh my God, like that's incredibly violent. And they did this regularly? That's insane. I mean, I have watched a lot of UFC matches on TV before, and let me tell you folks, they don't mop up the blood in between the fights. So there is kind of like that interesting aspect there too. Maybe, hundreds of years in the future, some civilization may look back on us and be like, what the heck were these people doing? This seems insane. But in fact, it's just part of that culture that was occurring at that time. So I think it's a really interesting concept to reflect on, and you all did such an amazing job there. So a really successful week 7, folks. I again want to thank you so much for all your work. And now let's get to some of these important reminders. I'm also going to put this in the announcement as well, and as the title of the announcement, because this is key, folks. Your semester, your entire course, your first half of the semester, this course is done on Friday. So all of the work that you need to complete for week 8 needs to be turned in at 11:59 on Friday. There's no extensions. I need the weekend to grade, so if everything isn't in by Friday, it's not getting graded, so it needs to be submitted, folks, and that is a very hard deadline. There is no exemptions, there's no extensions given, no further days. That's it. So please plan ahead. As this announcement is coming out now on a Monday, I would highly recommend you get started on all that work. The things that are left for you to work on are notes number 27, 15.03 self-guided explorations. We've got quiz number 14, exam number 2, week 8 discussion, and that 4th writing assignment. So remember, you've completed that graded calculation sheet, so you know where you should be at point-wise, and whether or not how much of these different assignments you're going to be completing for this week to get to that point value that you were hoping to achieve for the semester. So on that note, I'll just say one more time, work is due on Friday, folks, not Sunday. Friday, 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 not Sunday. Please don't forget. I really don't want to be spending my weekends sending out endless emails hounding you for assignments and things like that. I feel like I've done a pretty consistent job of staying on top of my grading throughout the semester, and so I ask this one last favor of you to please make sure that you hand your work in by the assigned due date, and I really appreciate it. I'll send out one more video on Friday, just kind of summarizing what we did this week really quickly and congratulating you all on a really amazing job. Well done. I feel very blessed to have been your professor for this semester. This is my very first time being one, so I really appreciate all your patience. I hope that, as your educator, I was responsive and communicated properly and got on top of those technical issues in Canvas, and I'm really, really grateful that you could come on this journey with me in my, first year here at Lindenwood as an educator, and maybe your first time taking an art history class, or maybe it's your first year here at Lindenwood as well. Either way, I'm so impressed with all your hard work. I am so grateful for all your hard work. I hope you know that I am absolutely and completely 100% aware of the time that it takes to finish all of these art history assignments. Art history can be a really grueling subject matter, but it's so rewarding in so many ways. So I hope that looking back on this fall one, half of the semester, that you feel that you put in a lot of hard work, but it was worth it, and hopefully you left with a little bit of extra knowledge about art history. If you really like this course, I really encourage you to continue to take art history classes. The reason I am an educator here at Lindenwood is because I adored being involved in that master's program at Lindenwood. Completing that degree was probably some of the best school and education related experiences that I have ever had. So if I can contribute to your experiences in any way, I want to make sure I do so. Don't forget to fill out those course evaluations so that I can see your feedback. As you know, I am a lifelong learner and nowhere near perfect, so I encourage your honesty and helping me grow as an educator so I can just continue to better serve the students who are a part of my classroom in the future. So thank you so much, everybody. I will check back in with you all on Friday. Again, that's what everything's due. Don't forget. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. So until then, bye everybody.